pissing, shitting, throwing up, begging on my hands and knees. Hi, I'm Caitlin, or Kate, and today I want to talk about the books I read in February. It's literally the last day of February. I'm almost done with a book, and I don't really remember what I've read this month. But I decided we're gonna get out of the house, do some choring, and I'm treating myself to a salad and some peach lemonade. And I'm also getting weird looks, so I didn't think it would be this busy. I'm currently reading If You Keep Me by Helena Hunting, the last in the series, and yeah, I don't know. I also tried doing my bangs today, and I did a claw clip. How do you make your claw clips look cute? Asking for me. I'm gonna yap to you about books maybe when there aren't so many people staring at me. This is so much salad. Let's talk about what I read in February. 4 books. Not the most, but I kind of averaged like 3 to 6, I want to say. So for February, I read, I finished The L, which I talked about in the what I read in January video. So I finished The L. The way the book was marketed was like Warriors in Chicago in the late 70s. And then in the book, they literally reference Warriors so many times. It was an interesting read. It was pretty cool being a Chicago native, like recognizing a lot of the street names and high schools and locations that they were talking about. And then I talked to my mom about this book a little bit, and she was like, I've heard these gang names before. She grew up in Chicago and she was born in 69. Not related, but she was like aware and was like, what? How do you know about that? I read it in bits, and then I switched over to the audiobook on Audible. I had some credits and I was like, sure, why not? And this is an arc that I got like last year through NetGalley and just like never got to it. I'm usually pretty good about reading books before pub day, and this one I was going to DNF it just because it like wasn't catching my interest. I think the audiobook is an incredible experience. Each of the characters have a different narrator, and I just thought it was really cool. So if you want to experience this book, I highly recommend the audiobook. Then I read Just for the Cameras by Megan Quinn, and I think I rated this 5 stars. Oh, okay. Just for the Cameras by Megan Quinn. I'm part of Megan Quinn's content creator team, or content team. I'm not sure the name of it. Here's a little logo. So I received this arc through that, and I love Megan Quinn's writing. If you love banter, if you love spice, if you love laughing out loud and maybe even cringing a little, but like it's funny. It's funny. Some people say Megan Quinn's writing is really cringy. I think it's fun, and that's like one of my favorite Megan Quinn-isms is like the cringe that makes you laugh. I rated this 4 stars, and I said, if Hot and Cold by Katy Perry were a man, it'd be Graydon St. John. He is so rude. He's literally so rude. He's literally so rude for no reason. Well, he has a reason. It's trauma. But he's like so mean, and he doesn't need to be. It's forced proximity. He's a football player, and through this like PR agency / person, 3 athletes from different sports local to this zoo, like these 3 athletes are on like a PR campaign to basically clean up the perception of not just the players but like the teams overall. Graydon St. John and 2 other athletes from varying sports. I think one is a baseball player and one might be a hockey player. I don't remember. But Graydon is a football player, and each of them are teamed up with a different zookeeper with a different animal. And so Graydon and what was her name? I literally cannot remember the main female character's name. Oops. He's teamed up with this flamingo zookeeper. He thinks it's stupid. He's like, these dumb pink birds. He's mean. But I'm excited to see this kind of turn into a series, and some of these characters who are featured have their own books. I think this is a great start to a series, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Hell yeah. It's one of those trucks with like hella speakers in the back seat. and all the windows are down. Yeah. They're vibing. I'm vibing too. Next book. The book I took my time with it because I literally did not want it to end. In Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curto. Chelsea Curto, I think, has become one of my favorite authors. I want to say top three. Top three favorite author. I will read anything she writes. She does have some back catalog that I need to get through. I started the Just for the Camera series with the novella and didn't go much further, but that's my TBR is just forever long. And then she had a dark romance come out recently. Haven't read it yet, but I actually just found quite a steal. Someone's notated and tabbed signed copy for $9. So I don't know if they didn't like it or what, but sure. And I don't mind notated and tabbed versions because I am curious what other people are perceiving as they read. So I think it's really cool, and maybe we go through that together. But in Stormy Weather, 5 stars. Incredible. This book, not only is Chelsea Curto just an amazing writer, and I love the way she fleshes out her characters, and something that I think is sometimes missed in the romance genre is the build-up of you understanding why the characters do what they do. And maybe you don't know right away. You kind of learn along the way why characters do what they do. But Chelsea Curto really makes you feel for her characters. And sometimes you don't know why yet, but you feel. When I read, I feel like I can see it in my head. So that's the way I kind of perceive book stuff. And this story, I could just envision everything happening. I've never seen a hurricane in person, but I live in Houston and have seen some of those scary freaking clouds. What was that sandstorm? Haboob? I learned what a haboob was. And I think In Stormy Weather is probably the most highlighted book I have ever read. There's also a few DC stars Easter eggs, and I think Easter eggs for what might be coming if this is a series. We'll see. I hope it is, because there were a lot of characters that I already feel pretty invested into. Specifically, what is Sebastian's friend who invited Quincy? He's like, hey, if you want to chase some tornadoes, hit me up. And then he was off into the sunset. Who's that? I'm interested. I forget his name, but I want to know, because it was giving God, I can't even think of how to relate him to somebody, but it reminds me of Sam and Dean Winchester. You know how sometimes in their show titled something, I forget what it's called, Supernatural. You know in Supernatural you have Sam and Dean, right? And then they come across all these different monster and vampire hunters, and they kind of become recurring characters, but the first introduction you're like, whoa, who the hell is that? I want to know more. That same vibe. I've felt very inspired by this book too, just creatively. I've been flexing some of my tiny brain cells, just rubbing them together and really learning how to do things on Canva that I haven't done before. And so I made a really cool seamless carousel type thing, but with all MP4s. And it was a struggle, and it took forever to line everything up correctly, because you can use an image splitter, but it won't be an MP4, and I had a bunch of moving assets and everything. I'm really proud of it. Here it is. Look at it. It's beautiful. And then Chelsea herself was like, this is so cool, and then shared it to her story saying I was cool. Yeah, no. Pissing, shitting, throwing up. I'm really close to emailing Atria, the publisher for the US, and begging on my hands and knees for a physical copy. eARC access via NetGalley. Having that alone is such a privilege. And I've already pre-ordered the book through The Last Chapter Chicago, which is a small indie bookstore that I'm kind of obsessed with, and maybe in a parasocial way, because I feel like the owner maybe thinks I'm a creep, but I think she's super cool. 5 stars if you want to know more about it. I'm not going to tell you because it's not out yet. It's not out yet, and it's so far away. June 14th, July 14th. It's out July 14th, so I'm not gonna give you too many spoilers, but visit my Instagram and I've got all the spicy deets. And on the Cosmic Candles website, I have a Kate's Bookish corner that I put all my reviews there as like a little blog. My bangs are pissing me off. And then I will finish this book before the month is over, but If You Keep Me by Helena Hunting, I think it's gonna be a 4-star. It's emotional, it's cute, it's hot, it's full of some really fun banter. In full disclosure, I'm also part of Helena Hunting's Badass Babe Brigade influencer team. There's like a few different subsets of her Badass Babe Brigade, but I'm part of the influencer team. So full disclosure there as well. Absolutely love Helena Hunting. She is the first author that I read after reading Icebreaker, which was one of my first few books that got me back into reading back in 2023, I think. Yeah, it was like spring of 2023. I was just looking for more hockey romance. I didn't realize that was a genre that existed. That's how I found Pucking Around by Emily Raff. That's how I found Ainsley Booth through Kindle Unlimited, just looking for hockey romances. And Helena Hunting's Pucked series, gold. I love it so much. Helena Hunting is similar to Megan Quinn, where there's gonna be some cringe. There's just gonna be some cringe, but it's the kind of cringe that makes you laugh and offers a little bit of like a like comedic relief through some of the heavier topics in the story. So this one's about Lula and Philip, and I love them. My gripe is that there's a 10-year age gap. And they've been like mutual friends and like actual friends since before she was 18. And that's just where it gets a little weird for me, because like I don't mind age gap stories, but I do not love it when anyone is under the age of 18 or knowing that person before they were 18. Now, it can be argued, right, that like, oh, it wasn't romantic at all until suddenly it was, right? But I don't know, it just feels weird for me. I'm 85% of the way through. I'm gonna finish my lunch. I gotta run to the grocery store and grab a few things for dinners, and then we're gonna continue reading, maybe in the backyard or something. It's gorgeous out today. Little one in the pantry, that's Junior. He looks just like Dorcas, which is why his name is Junior. Hi, babies. Hi. The little ones still do not love humans. So it's, oh, and here comes Peanut. That's Peanut. Hi, why are we itchy? Oh, and here comes Ravioli. Do I have 5 cats? Yes. But we were only supposed to foster the little ones. And now we're here. The little ones do not love when we touch them or approach them. Come here, Ravioli. Here he comes. Here comes the boy. Hi. This is Ravioli. He lets me do whatever I want. Okay. Bring Philip over here. Yeah, Phil. Come here. Yeah, Phil. Yes. We're still not sure. And then I also, at TJ Maxx, got a new bag. And I love it. It's perfect. It holds my Smisky perfectly. And then I think the most important piece of information is, yes, my Kindle Color Soft fits in here. It fits in here with plenty of room. I can even put it in here like vertically and it fits. But horizontally is the vibe. So much room for activities. Noodles. Hi, Phil. Phil. Here comes Oli. Ravioli. Good morning, it's Sunday. Tell you what, I tried reading more of my book, but through my small business, I also have orders that I get to fulfill. Switching my mindset there of like, I have to fulfill orders. I get to fulfill orders. It's been very helpful with getting in the right mindset. So I was working on that, hung out with my friend Chelsea, watched Exo Kitty, got some stuff done. I'm still working on small biz stuff this morning. Husband and I are going to a car drifting thing later. I think I'm gonna take you with. And I didn't get much reading done. I got a little bit done last night before bed, but I knocked out. I'm on chapter 59. That's 94% of the way through. As of yesterday, the author, Helena Hunting, and her PA, Sarah, the advanced listener copy, so the audiobook, is now available through a NetGalley widget, and there was like issues with it and everything. Indie publishing, I can't imagine how hard it's got to be. She's doing it pretty much all by herself with her PA and I think a few other people. So I literally have 30 minutes left in the book. I'm gonna listen to it. I don't know what these narrators really sound like. It's a duet narration by Lee Manuels. And CJ Bloom. I don't know, this was what it looked like. Cool. And it's through NetGalley, so my feedback percentage went down since this counts as an approval, but as soon as I do a review for it, it'll be fine. Last week chat, I was talking about Talia and Flip's age gap and the fact that like he knew her before she was 18. Still kind of freaks me out, but their connection is so strong and they've taken this so slow to ensure that both of them are comfortable with what's going on. Not because of the age gap. The age gap honestly has nothing to do with it except for the fact that like through all of this and through, you know, her dating her dad's hockey player, because her dad's the coach of the team. And so her dating a player on her dad's team is like a big social media thing. Phillips, like past comes up and it's like a whole big thing. And so there's a lot that they're going through and they still continue to take things slow. And then there's a slip up where they don't take something slow and they both feel like that wasn't quite right and then talk about it. So I really like how she's handling this. But I think I like the cameos the most in this book. Flip and Talia are cool and all, and I like them. But the cameos with like Dredd and Connor and the other players and people from the past books in this series coming together to help these two. All right, I'm gonna listen, make some coffee. I've got eggs and stuff. I'm gonna make some brekkie, and then we're gonna get some candle making done. I'll give you a sneak peek into what that kind of looks like. I do candle making streams and videos and stuff on my small business channel, but let me take you with me as part of the adventure.
Please. Say it again. I kiss over her sternum and upper throat. Please. I pull back and snap my hips forward, making you come, pushing them up until they meet her ribs. I move over her.
I also want to know, and this was a thought I had last night while reading in bed, and I'm having it again because they're playing another game of hockey. And I have to say, Helena Hunting's writing for while the teams are like in a game, it's fast paced. And I don't know, I feel like she writes it in such a way where I'm picturing the game happening. And I think it's really cool. I think she does it really, really well. So if you like a sports romance where the sports side is like very realistic, I think you would like Helena Hunting's writing. This is only a section of my candle making studio. Here she is in all her glory. And I'm working on making a few tins for the Mule Nocturna scent, which is a collaboration with my friend Jackie B. And it's actually a combination of 3 oils. And here's an example of a finished product. This is Big Stick Energy, inspired by literally 50% of my bookshelf, which are hockey romances. But I also had some people be like, heated rivalry candle. So this is inspired by all of the hockey romances, including Heated Rivalry. So I say that it smells like snow at the cottage. It's a eucalyptus, citrus, it's some woods. And so she's clean, bright, and beautiful. This is my bigger candle jar. My standard ones look like this, and I've been wanting to upgrade these jars, but honestly I like keeping my price point kind of low. It makes my products more accessible, and you know, if you want something bigger and more beautiful, I do have the option with these big guys. Hey, good afternoon. We are going to go on a quick adventure. I had to drop something off for my husband at work, so and he lives right next to, if you don't know, I work from home, so I had to drop something off for my husband at work. He works right next to a mall, and this mall has Barnes & Noble. Brought my laptop because I had a meeting, so I took a meeting from my car in the parking lot for like an hour. But now I'm on my lunch break, so we're gonna run into Barnes & Noble real quick, see what we can find. I kind of look a mess. Oh my gosh. I finished If You Keep Me yesterday by Helena Hunting, and I'm gonna add it to my February wrap-up. This is my February wrap-up. It's technically March 2nd. So that means I read 4 books in February, and honestly that's kind of my average. There's like 3 to 6, depending. My TBR is full, so I don't think I'm gonna get anything while I'm here, but I'm just gonna look since I'm right here. There's also a half-price books on the other side of the mall, in a like standalone strip mall area. What is happening here? I don't know what my bangs are doing. I don't know how to do this. Okay. and their mother talking about all the book stuff at Michael's. And I was like, oh, this would be cute at my booth for when I have a book swap. $40. I don't know. This is kind of crazy. And I kind of have an issue where all of this like bookish stuff that they have is inspired by a lot of the small businesses that I've seen on social media. And I just don't love it. Yeah, $50 for this shelf. It's cute. But what in the world? Unfortunately, I think I'll get a lot of use out of this. So I'm gonna add it. But like this plate or this cup or I don't know. I feel like I've seen small businesses make much higher quality stuff and I'd rather support them. Okay, lesbian bowls. Yes. It's giving lesbian. In like the best way. It's kind of sick. We're gonna make this relatively quick, but the 2 books I got at Half Price Books are So Not Meant to Be by Megan Quinn. This was only $7.99 as opposed to, I don't know, but this is also out of print cover, I'm pretty sure. And then a First Time Caller for $9.49. It's not in perfect condition. Some pages are dog-eared. Someone on Threads mentioned that And Now Back to You is taller than First Time Caller. So let's see. Oh, by the tiniest bit. Berkeley, why? Why? Berkeley, why? Oh. I don't think I would have noticed if that user didn't ruin it for me. This is how much I love Megan Quinn. Okay. I have all my like hockey and sport romance. Megan Quinn. Hockey and sport romance, which this, like my Chelsea Curto side of the shelf is also, she's gonna take up a lot. And then I have a huge chunk of Emily Rath. Liz Tom40. Haven't read any of those. I have Elle Kennedy here with some of her others over there. And then Helena Hunting has a lot of real estate on my shelf as well. And actually, the original Pucked books are back behind there. Not original, but the, like, pastel covers. There we go. Yeah, a lot of duplicates on my shelf. And then I have a lot of the Forever Romances from Helena Hunting, Pucked series, Chase Levitt Wants Me. I actually took this, I have an autographed version and then a version I got in PR, and I put that in a book swap basket at one of my recent events. So someone went home with the other one. I Could Be Yours. I think I Could Be Yours is my favorite. It's a standalone, but it's a couple from the Toronto Terror series, which are these guys. And If You Keep Me is the one that I just finished. That I don't have a paperback of. I purchased this one, and then these 2 were PR. Yeah. I think they might not be in order. Yeah. Either way. And then I also have an ARC copy of Cleat Cute. This is the only time I've won a Goodreads giveaway. Thank you for joining me. I know this was kind of a chaotic monthly wrap up, but I want to make these a little more entertaining and not just me sitting down yapping about books. Like, I want to take you places, experience all the bookish things with me.